Good morning, dear children. Hope you all are fine. Today we are going to the next part of history, and the first topic is expansion of the company. The company, how the company rule expands. And now we can discuss about the expansion of the company. Company has a specific method for expansion of the company, that is, they will not directly attack anyone of the area. They will expand their territory through diplomatic method and through the political and economic method. So, these started within the policy of subsidiary alliance. After the battle, company appointed residents in Indian states. These agents are appointed for the serving of the company interest. The company forced India into an alliance, that is, subsidiary alliance. That alliance means Indian rulers were not allowed to have their independent armed force. They will be protected by the company, but they must pay for the subsidiary forces that the company was supposed to maintain. If payment was not made, territory was taken as a penalty. When Richard Wellesley was the Governor General in the period of 1798 to 1805, the Nawab of Awadh was forced to give over half of his territory to the company in 1801. As he failed to pay for the subsidiary forces, Hyderabad was also forced to keep territories on the similar way. Tipu Sultan, the Tiger of Mysore. Mysore is ruled by Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali. Direct military confrontation occurred in Mysore, and Mysore grew under his Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. Mysore controlled profitably trade of Malabar coast in 1785. Tipu Sultan stopped export of sandalwood, pepper and cardamom. Tipu Sultan established relations with French and modernized his army. 4 times the company army fought with Mysore at the period of 1768, 69, 1780 to 84, 1790 to 92 and 1799. In the last war, the Battle of Srirangapattanam, the company ultimately win a victory. Tipu Sultan was killed defending his capital, Srirangapattam. This was the combined attack of Marathas, Nizam of Hyderabad and the company. Tipu Sultan was forced to sign a treaty with the British by which 2 of his sons were taken away from him. Tipu's toy tiger, kept in Victoria and the Albert Museum in London, was taken away in 1799. The war with Marathas. In 1761, the third battle of Panipat had took place. It is an between Marathas and the company, and at this battle the victory is with company. Under the different dynasties as Sindhya, Holkar, Gaidwalk and Bhonsle, the chiefs were held together in conference under Peshwa. Peshwa means principal minister. The first Anglo-Indian Maratha war was happened in 1782. The claim to paramountcy. From early 19th century, company went on with aggressive territorial expansion. Paramountcy means the authority or supreme power. Hence, its power was greater than that of Indian states. So, this paramountcy was introduced in India by Lord Hastings in 1830 to 1823. And the exceptions are annexations of Kittur in Karnataka, Rani Chennamma led an anti-British resistance movement, and she was arrested in 1824 and died in prison in 1829. However, Rayanna, a poor chowkidar of Shankoli in Kittur, carried on resistance and he also caught and hanged in 1830. So, the whole control of South was at the company's hand. Slowly, the company started moving to the northwest of the country and they have a war with Afghanistan in 1833 to 42 and established the indirect company rule in 1843. Sindh was annexed by the company. The next is Doctrine of Lapse. The doctrine of lapse was introduced by Lord Dalhousie, the Governor General from 1848 to 1856. This says that if an Indian ruler died without a male heir, that is son, in his kingdom, it would be lapse. That is, it will become the part of the company territory. With this, the doctrine of lapse, they conquered Sathara in 1848. Sambalpur in 1850 and Udaipur in 1852, Nagpur 1853 and Jhansi in 1854. From these maps, we can see the expansion of the company all over the country. Setting up a new administration. A new administration was done under the leadership of Warren Hastings in 1733 to 1785. The British territories are divided into presidencies under governors: Bengal, Madras, and Bombay. Warren Hastings, the first Governor General, introduced several administrative reforms, mainly in justice. That is, each district was have two courts. One is criminal and next is civil. The criminal means Faujdari Adalat under Quasi and civil means Diwani Adalat under Mufti. Warren Hastings was impeached for 7 years when he went back to England in 1785. Brahman Pandits gave different interpretation to Hindus' laws in 1775. 11 Pandits were asked to compile Hindu laws. N.B. Halden translated the digest in English. By 1778, a code of Muslim law was also compiled for the benefit of European judges. Regulating Act of 1773, new Supreme Court was established, while a Court of Appeal, that is Sardar Nizamat Adalat, was also set up at Calcutta. Indian district collectors are appointed and the role was to collect the revenue and maintain law and order, and his office was called Collectorate. The Company Army. The Company Army was on cavalry, that is trained soldiers on horseback, and infantry or padial foots. Soldiers trained in archery and they used the sword. In 18th century, Awadh and Banaras recruited peasants in army. And they were recruited in the East India Company and they were called as sepoys. After 1820, cavalry decreased as fighting with Burma. Afghanistan and Egypt, who used musket and matchhawks, that is guns, steam technology, came in early 19th century. The slave trade in South Africa. The company reached South Africa in 17th century. The people of South Africa were captured and sold in slave market. This is the slave trade and it ended in 1834. In 1834, there were 36,774 privately owned slaves in slave markets. So children, here we are winding up this chapter and this session. Hope you all understand. Thank you, children.